By the time that I record this video, the AVkans E-20 PTZ camera costs around $499 if you get the NDI version. With that NDI, it could actually go to $425-ish, which is really low for a PTZ camera. We're talking about 1080p 60 frames per second. You got NDI, of course, depending on the version that you have, and you got HDMI, SDI, and on the top of that, you're getting USB, which means you can connect the camera directly to your computer, be able to access it. If you want to connect it directly to something like OBS and go live, that's gonna be awesome. But guess what? I've got some test footage, including some footage that I did here in the studio, and one of my subscribers actually sent me some test footage in a church environment. So we're gonna be seeing all that in this video, and of course I'm gonna give you my opinion to help you find out if this PTZ camera is right for you. So let's go. What's going on, guys? Sam Live production tips and tools here. PTZ cameras have come so far. Last week I reviewed a over $5,000 camera from Panasonic, and you can see, if you look at the difference today, I'm reviewing a 400-ish PTZ camera from AVkans, and I am actually kind of blown away by what this PTZ camera can do. So some of the key features, of course, we got SDI, HDMI, NDI, and PoE, which is kind of becoming standard for many PTZ cameras. But on the top of that, you're getting USB and IP. Okay, I mean, yeah, I think IP is kind of standard, but it's kind of cool to have IP because one of the ways is gonna be able to control the camera. And if you want to live stream directly from the actual PTZ camera to something like YouTube, whatever platform, you could do that as well. But we have something new, which is USB. I think having USB in a camera like this one can allow someone like me, who's a content creator, maybe using it, you know, a few feet away from where I'm sitting, to be able to actually connect directly the camera into OBS without using a capture card or anything, or without having to use NDI, and actually be able to add it and be able to go live. Although I did some testing and it works, no problem. I can get a full HD 1080p image, no problem. But one tiny issue that I had was the delay was significantly kind of high. I don't know how many seconds or how many milliseconds, but what I know, I could notice there was high delay. You need to be aware of that, even though it's something you can actually easily fix. In most streaming softwares are going to have some sort of delay tool that you can apply and kind of mash your audio with the picture, so that should be a big problem. But other than that, it comes with a Sony CMOS sensor. I don't know how big the sensor is, which is something that I'm gonna start asking for when I get this camera sent to me. By the way, this camera was sent to me by AVkans for reviewing, so I'm not getting paid. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. They don't even know what I'm gonna say, so you can be assured that I'm giving you my 100% opinion. I don't know how big the sensor is, but again, this is a PTZ camera, so it's probably gonna be 1/2.8 or 1/2.5 or something like that. Okay, it's not gonna be a huge sensor, but small or big, what matters the most is the image quality that you can actually get from the PTZ camera. So another cool feature, of course, that I liked about this camera, it actually does come with the software that you can download easy. So you go to AVkans website, as you can see, it's right here, and then where it says AVkans auto tracking software. Again, this camera has another version that has the auto tracking. You can see the software is gonna be actually right here. So as you can see, it says supports AV-E20 NDI. This is what we're looking for, and you're gonna go here and actually click download and follow all the instructions and install the file, no problem. It should be super easy. Once you have it installed, it's gonna look like this. What you do, you want to make sure you have your camera kind of connected to something like a switch, an Ethernet switch, and make sure your computer, of course, is connected on the same network as the camera. If you're using an IP controller, of course, you want to make sure that the IP controller is connected as well on the same network. If you have a switch, it would be actually cool to have the computer, the camera, and the controller can connected on the same switch. That's gonna make your life easier. But other than that, to add the camera, you're just gonna go to where it says search here. I'm just gonna hit stop search. All right, so you're just gonna go here. Usually, as you can see, mine is already added, but what you do for the first time, once you have the camera connected, you just go here where it says start search, click on it. It's gonna find the camera automatically. You don't have to do anything. This is actually kind of cool, and kudos to AVkans, because I've used some other cameras where to get them to control them or to access their interface is actually super hard. But this one, once you have the software, it's kind of super easy. So once you have it, click the add to client button, and it's gonna actually show up here among your devices. So once you have it added here, as you can see, it says status connected. You can go ahead and go to main view, and this is where you're gonna see the actual image of the camera. So now you can access the menu. So now if you receive it, it may come with the remote. Actually, mine was a demo, so it did not come with the remote. AVkans, if you're watching this video, please next time send me everything, including the remote controller, okay? But anyways, so you can go ahead if you want to kind of access the camera menu. One of the key secrets, if you want to get the best image out of it, you want to make sure you go to color, all right, and make sure you set your white balance correctly. All right, so depending on how you're setting it up, you want to make sure the white balance is actually well set, and the colors, you kind of need to play a little bit with the settings and make sure it actually looks good. Other controls in here, so this is your menu. You can also do, like, you know, kind of control the camera. If I exit the menu, I can use it to tilt my image, kind of pan, tilt, all the crazy stuff, whatever you want to do with the PTZ camera. Of course, this is a 20 times optical zoom PTZ camera, so as you can see, I can zoom in and zoom out, and you got the focus here, you got your iris, everything. Mostly you can control the camera in here, and of course you got your joystick kind of functionality here, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit, something like this. Make sure it looks good. So that's pretty much the software part. Super easy, right? So now I have the camera connected via I tested USB, of course. Adding to OBS works no problem, but I also have the camera connected via HDMI on my ATEM Mini Pro, so I can switch right now. I can actually go ahead and switch to it, and as you can see, this is the picture coming directly from the camera through HDMI. So if I compare to my camera, it's a Micro Four Third sensor, a nice lens with nice depth of field, so you cannot compare. But I tried to match the image, you know, the white balance and hue and everything. It's not that easy, but I think I did a good job. So this is what it looks like, kind of compared to my camera, using, of course, the same lighting and everything here in my studio. And as you can see, it's not really bad. So if you already own a controller, an IP controller, this camera does support Visca and Pelco. I also have seen a video on the Amazon listing actually showing how this camera can connect to an IP controller using OMVIF. However, I tried to look into the menu. I can't find the OMVIF kind of protocol here in the software and in the camera's menu as well. So I don't have an official confirmation that it does support OMVIF, although I've seen on the Amazon listing actually AVkans showing how to use it with OMVIF. So what I would say, if you have an OMVIF kind of supported IP controller, you want to double check, or AVkans, if you're watching, just leave a comment down below. I'm gonna pin it for you guys, maybe if you want to go with OMVIF. So it would be kind of useless if the camera has all these good features, USB, HDMI, SDI, all the good stuff, and the image quality actually sucks. So one of my viewers, actually, or my subscribers, his name is Aaron, thanks Aaron, bought this camera and sent me some footage to see, and I was kind of impressed. So the image quality actually that this camera does produce is actually really good. Looking at the fact that you're only paying around $400–500 for it, you're getting really good features. And the actual image, look at this image. This is a church and this is a pastor preaching, and you can see this image on a black background. Usually one of the issues you may have with PTZ cameras is noise, and noise tend to be places where the background is dark or lighting's not good enough. But you can see on a black background, actually the camera does it really well. And of course you can see the colors, they're popping. When I saw this image, I was like, oh my god, oh my god. Of course you kind of have to go into the menu and tweak the saturation, tweak it a little bit and make sure it's giving you some vibrant colors. I don't know the settings that he was using, but there's not much settings to play with, to be honest, in this camera. So you can maybe play a little bit with the saturation, don't add too much. But other than that, guys, look at the image. I was really super impressed with this. And of course this is on a white background, and this is my image in the studio as well. As you can see, it's not bad. It's actually doing a good job. One thing that I have noticed with this camera, I wish there was a way to adjust the sharpness. It looks like the image, especially on the skin tones, I don't know if maybe it's the way they process, the software processes the noise or something, I don't know. But you can see that it's kind of soft. The skin tones looks a little softer. You can see that my skin is kind of, you know, soft compared to my other camera. Even on this pastor's picture, I can see that the skin is super ultra soft. So that's a little something, maybe, I don't know if it's something they can fix or upgrade, have an upgraded version where maybe we can have ability to kind of tweak the softness and make the image a little sharper. But other than that, I think for a PTZ camera, this is the best PTZ camera that I have seen actually for this price and this image quality. And kudos to AVkans for sure. So would I recommend this camera? Absolutely. If you're on a budget looking for a PTZ camera, man, I think it is actually a steal. And if you use NDI, this is gonna be awesome as well. And if you have an office as a content creator like me, having the ability to be able to connect this camera using USB, I think it's great. Although you have to be aware that the image quality between USB and SDI or HDMI is not the same. If you may be streaming on Facebook or platforms where people don't really care about super high quality, maybe people are watching on their cell phones, that's not gonna matter. But if you want to get the best out of the camera, you want to make sure you use HDMI or SDI, of course, from this camera. The actual camera is actually super lightweight, so you're going to be able to mount it anywhere. It's well made, it looks good and feels good as usual. But if you want to check out some other options, I've got another review that I did on another 20x PTZ camera from AVkans, and I'm working on another brand called Temvo. Actually sent me a super interesting, awesome camera. There's gonna be linked somewhere here, so check them out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.